But what this program is going to bring forth is adventure, far different than any other program that you've been on as an international awareness program with the St. Tammany Chamber. We've got terrific folklore and cultures, breathtaking scenery of such places as Cape Town. Now, this flat-topped mountain is just about 3,500 feet high. And if you've been to San Francisco on numerous occasions, you'll have that cotton candy style clouds coming down in the early morning or the early evenings, which is a great photo opportunity and only adds to the wonderful nature of the destination. We've got cosmopolitan cities, vibrant cultures. Here we're in Soweto at the Orlando Towers with some wondrous art. There's our first white knuckle adventure. If you're interested, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But South Africa is known for its warm and inviting, friendly people. They're known for their hospitality, for their vibrant spirit. And I'm sure as soon as you step foot on South African soil, you'll be warmly welcomed to their land and made feel completely welcome. Our first day on this program, we'll be leaving New Orleans behind. Now, I know somebody may ask me about air. I'm going to give you a brief understanding of what the air is, but still, there's possibility of changes. But the air on this program that we have currently held, subject to change by the airline, is from New Orleans to Atlanta non-stop into Cape Town. It's the most direct way to get to this region from New Orleans, and it is a wondrous way to get there. And in day two, somewhere round about late afternoon, welcome to South Africa. You'll be arriving into South Africa, and this is our itinerary: 4 nights in Cape Town, 2 nights in, and then we'll catch a flight after that up to Johannesburg, and we'll take a short transfer across to Pilanesberg Park, come back to Johannesburg, either go home or fly up to Zimbabwe and to Victoria Falls. And that's the route we're going to be following now. As soon as you arrive in Cape Town, you'll be met by your tour director and host at the airport, and off will take you to our hotel. Now, on this program, we use hosts. So each location has its own separate tour director. The tour director doesn't fly in between the locations with you, but you'll meet one each location that we go to, and they'll be there to look after you. They've forgotten more about this destination than we will ever know, and they're some of the best in the industry. Welcome to Cape Town, and here we are with that cotton candy style clouds that's coming down. Cape Town is known as the Mother City, and it's the most southwestern tip of South Africa, and you'll see fabulous views of the Atlantic Ocean everywhere. Our home from home on this program is the Commodore Hotel. It's located in the Victoria and Albert waterfront area. Excuse me, I apologize. Let me turn that ringer off. That's me. It's not, and it has a mix of city views, Table Mountain views, and harbor views. But it's got everything that we're going to need for our stay for 4 nights in a modern first-class hotel. Air conditioning rooms, sliding doors with balcony, Wi-Fi, satellite TV, private bathrooms with cosmetics, shampoos, and then importantly, throughout this program, we're not roughing it even when we get on the safari. There's even Nespresso machines in our hotel whilst we're safaring, because we just can't do without Nespresso, can we? It's got a 24-hour room service and a staff and management with a 100% will to satisfy. Here's a sample room of the shot of the rooms, the restaurant, and the breakfast buffet. First night, relax, take it easy. Maybe just go for a walk around the Victoria and Albert waterfront. And then the first tour of many will be the next day as we head to the top of Table Mountain. And we'll take the famous gondola ride. It takes only a moment or two to span the 3,500 feet peak. It holds spectacular views, 360-degree panoramic views as we head up the gondola itself. As we look back down, looking into Cape Town, we'll see one of the largest natural harbors in the world. We'll see Robben Island right there in the middle of the bay itself. That's where we're going to go in a moment. That's where the Robben Island prison is, and we can look down into the city itself. After that, we'll come back down by the gondola and then start our city tour of the city itself. We'll see the Victorian Albert waterfront. We'll head into the Castle of Good Hope area, and here we are at the castle itself. This was built by the Dutch East India Company in the 17th century. We are going into a Dutch colonial area, so especially in Cape Town, you're going to learn a lot about the East India Company and about Dutch heritage. This fortification was built to protect Cape Town from pirates and marauders, and to protect the vessels which were traveling from Europe and the East. Here we are in Company Gardens again, built by the Dutch East India Company in 1650s. And you'll find locals and travelers alike experiencing the beauty of Company Gardens, its shaded park benches, its ponds and water features, before continuing on to the Malay Quarter. Here we've got, it's fondly known as the Bow Cap area. It's built on Muslim style architecture, highly decorative and colorful houses, row houses. We call them terraced houses, but you call them row houses. And we'll see the beauty of the Bow Cap area before jumping on a boat. And we'll be on the boat and we'll go across the bay and we'll see Cape Town from a different perspective, from Robben Island itself. Robben Island is a UNESCO Heritage World Site, and it's a poignant symbol of South Africa's struggle for freedom. For nearly 400 years, this island has been either a prison, a hospital, or a military base. But it's the most famous because it's a maximum security prison where Nelson Mandela was held for 18 years of his 27 years of detention. We'll arrive at the main gates. We'll wander down its endless corridors with barred small cells, and we'll see the cell where Nelson Mandela spent 17 of those years. It's sparsely populated with a bucket as a latrine, a table, and a very thin mattress on the floor with blankets. We'll head into the hard labor area and we'll see where that was performed and come back that evening with, yes, some reflection of South African history. We will then this evening have what we call one of our journey of discoveries. And I mentioned it earlier. It's easy for companies to just take you to South Africa, to see Table Mountain, to go to Stellenbosch, but we really like to give you a more in-depth view of the country, to look a little bit, shall we say, underneath the rug and learn a little bit more about the destination than others. So on this evening, we have somebody called Christo Brandt coming to meet with us. Christo Brandt was a prison guard on Robben Island. He started straight from school. He's a celebrated author, if you wish to Google him. And he was one of Nelson Mandela's prison guards. He became Nelson Mandela's friend. Yes, it's a wonderful opportunity to meet somebody that had connections with Nelson Mandela and give you some insight into that. So, and then after that, head out, go and experience Cape Town and such. Day 4, we've got another included tour. This time we're heading to the winelands of Stellenbosch. Stellenbosch is, I know we've done Tuscany, and we've traveled to Tuscany in the past with the St. Tammany Chamber, and Tuscany is wonderful for the vineyards and the wines that can be had there, the Chianti regions, but nothing compares to the beauty of Stellenbosch, the mountains, the forests, the environment that you're in. It is truly spectacular. We'll be arriving in Stellenbosch. We'll be learning a little bit about the Dutch heritage, and we'll see the architecture of the Dutch style of architecture. We'll see Mission Church, the famous college. We'll have a nibble. It's known as a culinary capital. Also, we'll have a nibble or two of some things whilst here, and then we'll continue on to a family-run vineyard, and we'll learn about the rich, fertile soil that brings forth rich, world-class wines. They make robust reds, very crisp whites, and elegant blends in this area. And I'm sure we've all had a bottle or two of South African wines. You're actually going to see where it came from. And as you're sat, glass of wine, we'll have a tasting. As you're sat, glass in hand, you'll look around at the vineyards and the mountains around, and in awe, realize, my goodness, I'm actually in South Africa. For those people who's traveled with the chamber before, there's nearly always a free day, a day to go get lost, to do something independently, to use your tour director and host as a knowledge base and find out how to get from point A to point B. Maybe go and do some shopping in the local markets. Get that bikini, ladies. Look at those bikinis. You can get bead bikinis out here. Go into the local markets and buy some local handicrafts. Or if you want to be on the go, come out with us on an optional tour with only you in mind. And this is it's the only optional tour on the program. Every other tour is included. So we're going to head down the Cape and past the 12 apostles. The 12 apostles are these mountain ranges that we can see right here. We're going to pass along some of South Africa's most beautiful coastal scenery: emerald green waters, turquoise blue waters, golden sandy beaches. We'll be around Hoyt Bay, and you can see the road. We're cutting into the hillside, showing spectacular views. We're just after Hoyt Bay. We'll jump on another boat, and this time we're heading out to Seal Island to visit some of its local inhabitants, seals, southern seals, and sea lions, and see also, where there is seals, there's also great whites too. Now, we can't guarantee seeing great whites out here in Seal Island, but if there is anybody who's loves the adventure and white knuckle, shall we say, yep, Cape Town, there are many tour operators that would be happy to send you out and drop you in one of these cages so that you could see great whites looking at them like this. And your tour director, should you be interested, can arrange for that. After Seal Island, we'll continue on to Kirchenbach Gardens. Kirchenbach Gardens was built and opened in 1913, and it is a fabulous display of diverse fauna of South Africa, and it's over 528 hectares, and it's a mix of ground paths and elevated walkways, as we're looking at here, and it gives you a great understanding of the fauna and flora and bird life of the area. After the botanical gardens, we'll continue on to Boulder Beach in the penguin colony. This is a thriving colony of African penguins and jackass penguins. It's been a protected sanctuary since 1982. And yeah, they'll be saying, oh, here they come again. Let's see what these humans are doing. While we're saying, hey, look at these penguins. What are they doing? Great opportunity to get up close and see them and experience an unusual event. Before we know it, we'll have just spent 4 nights in Cape Town. And on day 6, we'll be jumping on our motor coach and heading to Johannesburg. And welcome to Johannesburg, or family referred to as Joburg. It's the largest city in South Africa, and it is the hub of an economic and cultural capital of the city of the country itself. The emphasis is not to see Johannesburg today. As soon as we're have arrived, we'll meet our host. We'll jump on our modern air-conditioned motor coach and off we go into Pilanesberg and towards the national park, heading through some wondrous countryside. You never know what you're going to see, so you should keep your eyes peeled as you're looking along the roadsides itself, going through some local villages and towns before we arrive into Pilanesberg National Park. Now, this park is a total of 572 square kilometers. So it is a huge park, but the wonders of this is, yes, it's still possible to see the Big Five. And the park surrounds an ancient volcanic crater. And it's a perfect place to experience a safari. Our home from home is the Kwa Maritime Bush Lodge. It's right there in the park itself. As you can see, backs out right onto the park. You never know what's going to be in front of your room. Yes, it's highly fortified to make sure that the large animals don't get in there, but you never know what you're going to find in the actual around the pool, in the trees and such things as that. But again, this is everything you're going to need for your a lovely first-class stay. We've got private bathrooms, air conditioning, free Wi-Fi, bright and airy rooms. There is satellite TV, and one of the beauty restaurants, bars, pools, and such. And they've got a fabulous hide that we're looking at right here. In the evenings, in the mornings, you might wish to, with a binocular, with your cameras, go into the hide and see what's at the waterhole, which has been made by the hotel itself. Here's another shot of the waterhole or another waterhole across from the restaurant itself. So as I mentioned, all the modern conveniences of home you'll need, including Nespresso machines, and ladies, including hair dryers. Hair dryers are throughout the program in all hotels. Now, on the program throughout, we have modern air-conditioned motor coaches, except once we're here for safaris, we have small four-wheel drive vehicles such as this, or Jeeps, Land Rover type vehicles for our stay here, along with tracker guides and expert drivers. And we're here to see the Big Five. Here we are in the main waterhole of the park itself. We've got a herd of elephants right here. But the Big Five, of course, are the lions, the elephants, buffaloes, the leopards. The leopard's the most elusive, but because of the modern technology, the use of cell phones and such things as that, we historically see leopards as well. We've got, and I'm not trying to say that the leopards have cell phones, I apologize, and they're telling us where they are. No, the guides and trackers are in communication with other people in the park, so we find out where they are. We've also got the rhinos, which is the last one. There's many other things that we should be seeing whilst we're on the program, of course. There's giraffes. We might get caught in rush hour, and we might have to stop as a pack of lions walks in front of us, or we see a cheetah out there and we just take a photo opportunity. Everything stops for an elephant in the road, so we may stop for a while as for elephants, or for the odd rhino. Yeah, we definitely make sure those get way past us before we go. Other things too, I haven't shown a picture of any giraffes. We probably will see giraffes too. But those are the animals that we are easily seen. Now, on this particular program, we have two. We have two safaris. One will be upon the day of arrival, most probably, and it's designed to be an early evening safari. So you see the environment during that early evening and dusk hours. And the next one would be in a morning environment. So you see different shades, different animals that's coming out, and different experiences throughout. But while you're there, yeah, take a dip in the pool, head to the spa in between your safaris, head to the viewing platform inside the hide, and watch the sun go down, and again be in awe again. You're in South Africa with the wildlife. Day 8 will then be upon us quite swiftly, and we'll be coming back from the park to Johannesburg, and welcome to Johannesburg. And before check-in, we'll have a city tour, but our home from home is the Santon Hotel. Santon is a township within Johannesburg, and a modern township with casinos, restaurants, hotels, entertainment, and such things as that. And lovely hotels. Our home is the Santon Hotel. Everything again, back to those Nespresso machines, air conditioning, satellite TV, direct telephones, private bathrooms, and such things as that are all there for your night stay. Whilst we're here in Johannesburg, we'll be heading into Soweto. Soweto is known as the southwestern, or shortened for the southwestern townships. And it is an important township in the history of South Africa. It was a pivotal role, played a pivotal role in anti-apartheid movements. It's not the richest of townships, but it is a great example. And here we are back at the Carlton Towers again, which, if you're interested, it's a white knuckle adventure. The second one, you can do bungee jumping from the towers. I'm not sure if bungee jumping and South Africa go hand in hand, but hey, everybody to everything. Carrying on to one of our journey of discoveries, we're heading into the Nelson Mandela House in the it was 8115 Villacras Street. This was his residence from 1946 through to the 1960s when he was in prison. And it really brings us a great glimpse into the Mandela struggle, his early life, activism, and the anti-apartheid struggle too. Before we know it, it's day 9. And for those people who unwisely chose not to go to Victoria Falls, you'll be heading to the airport in Johannesburg for your flight back to the US and onwards to New Orleans, with memories of a wonderful adventure, with spectacular scenery, with culture and traditions far different than at home. And we certainly hope you'll join the Chamber on a terrific trip in 2025. And what do you get for this? We class ourselves as the leader in first class programs in the United States. And hopefully, after we go through all the included features and we talk about the pricing, you'll agree with that statement. So we have round trip air transportation from New Orleans. We have 7 nights in first class hotels. We've got 11 meals, which equates to 3 full breakfasts, 1 lunch, and 3 dinners. We've got all your sightseeing tour except one day where we have that Cape optional tour. But we've got Soweto tour, Pilanesberg safaris. We've got Stellenbosch and wine tasting. We've got a Cape Town tour with Table Mountain, Robben Island. We've got our journey of discovery where we're heading into Soweto and Nelson Mandela's home. We got the winery, and we've also got that wondrous questions and answers and lecture from Christo Brandt on Nelson Mandela and apartheid and the penal system. We've also got our Quest Voyager local guides and hosts in each location that we go to. Again, they've forgotten more about the destination than we will ever know. And they're wonderful. They're there for hold a wealth of information, and they're there to make sure you have a wonderful trip. We got first class air-conditioned deluxe motor coaches throughout the program. And once we're on safari, we have a smaller 4x4 vehicles, open tops with canopies to protect you from the sun, with drivers and game drive guides and such. We've got baggage handling and transfers to and from the airports, in and out of hotels. All this for $1 short of $5,000. It's a terrific price to say how far we're going and all the included features. That's double occupancy. If you would like to go in a single occupancy format, it's an additional $7.99. And for $7.99, you can watch whatever you want to on the TV in the evening without an argument.
Right.
Please keep in mind, singles are only they're really limited occupancy. So the hotels don't give us a lot of the ability to book a lot of singles. So if you know you want to go, please do sign up sooner than later, because that will sell out, as will the trip. And we'll talk about that in a moment. Now, your fuel surcharges and land taxes are included in the price. This $4,999 price is an early bird discount price as long as you reserve the trip with a deposit by October the 18th. After that, the price goes up by $100 to $5,100. Better to have that $100 in your pocket than in our pocket. So do sign up sooner than later. Now, I'm very frank in all conversations, and as Connie mentioned at the beginning, this trip is one of the best selling programs that we have. They constantly sell out. The St. Tammany Chamber is not the only chamber on this date that's booking into it. So please, if you know you want to go, please do not wait until October the 18th to sign up. Most probably by October the 18th, this trip will have been sold out for some time. So if you know you want to go, please sign up as soon as you do know that. You are protected for your peace of mind and reassurance that from the day that you book all the way up to 131 days before you go, you're protected by a 131-day money-back guarantee. So all the way up to 131 days, you can get your money back. No questions asked. You'll just email to Connie, and she will email on to us, and we'll initiate the refund process. So in all aspects, I'm saying, what's stopping you from reserving? You have no reason not to. You can get an X on the calendar and get on the bus before it sells out. Okay. Now, approximately 75% of all travelers on this program say, I'm already there. I'm going to go to Victoria Falls. I want to see those fabulous waterfalls, one of the biggest waterfalls in the world. And it's in Zimbabwe. And it brings forth a spectacular culture, different than South Africa. And we'll be there from the 15th, returning on the 18th. And what do we get for this? We get internal flights from Johannesburg to Victoria Falls and return. We've got 2 nights in a first-class lodge hotel. We've got daily breakfast on the program. We've got a Zambezi Sunset River cruise, and we've got a Victoria Falls tour also. We've got the Quest Voyager host will be here with us. We've got baggage handling and transfers. All this for an additional $12.99 double occupancy, adding a $2.99 to that for single occupancy. But our home from home here is the Shearwater Explorers Village. This hotel has different quality rooms. We're in their deluxe rooms, which we've been using for many, many years, and they work really well. Comfortable, clean, and airy low-rise rooms, all with entrance out into the gardens from the room itself. If the wind is blowing from the falls, we may get the spray of the falls. That's how close we are to it. It has its own watering hole too, that we might find elephants and buffaloes close to. It's also close to the craft market and entertainment district of Victoria Falls too. And here we are inside the rooms itself, air conditioning, sign-proof walls, terrace and garden, private bathrooms, walk-in shower, hair dryers. I'm sorry, I don't know if they have Nespresso machines, but there'll be coffee somewhere around. But again, it's a wonderful place, and we can see the open air environment of the bar and the restaurant there. But as soon as we arrive, we'll have some time to settle into the hotel. And then that evening, we've got our first tour, and it's our Zambezi River Sunset Cruise. For those people who are old enough to remember the Johnny Weissmuller movies, the old black and white Tarzan movies, every week he was swimming the Zambezi, and he was rescuing three nuns, always singing Kumbaya in a location that they never should have been in. And every time I see this shot, and every time I've been on the Zambezi, I always look for Johnny Weissmuller, but he's not there. But now you're going to be on the Zambezi. Hopefully you don't see those three nuns, but it's a wonderful experience. And it is the fourth longest river in Africa. It flows for just over 1,500 miles, going through a whole host of countries before it arrives in the Indian Ocean. And through its banks, we'll see a whole host of different animals. We'll see hippopotamuses, which we will be seeing for the first time on this particular program. It's a rich ecosystem of rivers, estuaries, floodplains, and fertile banks. We'll probably see a couple of families of hippos, crocodiles sunning on the banks themselves. And as we look across the floodplains and as we watch the sun go down, again, it's another awe-inspiring event. Come back to the hotel, relax, take it easy, drink in the south, in the Victoria Falls atmosphere. And day 10 will find us on an awe-inspiring tour. We'll start out at the Big Tree. The Big Tree is said to be somewhere between 1,200 and 1,500 years old. And it's a baobab tree. It's a huge tree. You will see the girth of the trunk. It is awe-inspiring. After that, we'll continue on through to Victoria Falls and to the National Park of Victoria Falls. It's a mixture of dirt paths and level concrete paths that we're looking at. Victoria Falls is one of the spectacular natural wonders of the world that you can tick off on your passport book of places to visit. And it is the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe. But it is known as the smoke that thunders. That's what the falls are called in local tongue. And the falls are, depends where we are, but somewhere around about, they're over 350 feet high. And it's a UNESCO Heritage World Site, another one that we're seeing here. And we'll see the beauty of the falls. We'll feel the mist in our face. You'll see the border in between the two countries. There it is, right in the middle there. There's a hut right in the middle itself. We'll be seeing various vantage points, various places up close to see these magnificent falls. We'll have some free time. Or if you're interested, again, if you're that white knuckle person, take a look along the edge of the waterfall. You'll see some people sat there. This is called the Devil's Pool. You wander slowly, carefully, along the waters and the rocks until you get to Devil's Pool. This is a natural affinity edge pool that has been carved out by rocks and boulders over centuries. And you can sit in the pool. You can stick your head over the edge of the pool and watch the water thundering 360 feet. It's not happening for me. I'm not doing it. It would be that pool has stood there for centuries. It'd be my luck for that wall to disappear when I'm looking over the edge. So I'm not going to do it. But if you're interested, your host will be able to help you to do this. Before we know it, we're on our way home. Day 11 will be upon us. We'll come back to Johannesburg to catch our flight back to the US and back to New Orleans. Now, passports, validity, and such things as that. We have here a program. No visas are required in advance. For South Africa, we'll get our visa upon arrival, but you do need a passport with 6 months on it from the last day of your trip, whether it's South Africa or whether it's in Zimbabwe. 6 months left on it. And then for Zimbabwe, there is a visa required, but there's no filing out the form way in advance, submitting it, waiting it, sending your passport. No, we'll provide you with the form to get the visa in your final documents. You'll fill it out, hand it over when you arrive at the airport, and give them $30 and you're set to go. Now, how do we sign up? We already have some members already signed up on the trip, so it's really easy. If you were emailed the brochure that we're looking at here, you're going to click on that, click here for more information. And that's how you'll sign up, and we'll come to that in a moment. Now, I think it's also on the Chamber's website with a click through to it. So I'm going to click on that section right now, and here we are. This is the landing page. It brings up a picture, and I've only given you a brief snippet of the HTML files. There's quite a bit to scroll down. It starts with a nice picture of Cape Town. We've got the Chamber's name. You click on the see more photos. There's more photos. We've got the date of the trip. We've got about the trip. We've got highlights of the destination. We've got Connie's information right there at the bottom. Anybody's got questions and needs information, Connie is your contact. She's wonderful. She's been doing this a long time, and she's great to get back to you on this. If she doesn't have the answer, she has my cell phone. She has everything to get hold of me or one of my staff members, and we'll get the answer to you quickly. But to reserve, for the sake of this trip, not to keep you too long, I'm just going to click on this green select button to reserve on the trip. And by clicking on it, this brings up the page of how many, what are you reserving? Amazon Prime have done a wonderful job in creating an easy and simplistic booking process. And as a result, we have tried to duplicate the simplicity of the Amazon Prime engine. We think we've done a good job. We need a little bit more information than Amazon does, but as we go through, you'll see how easy it is. It always opens up when you click on the link to 000, but from these pull downs, you collect the how many. So in this case, this is 2 people traveling double occupancy. We got, 2 people's taken the Cape Town tour, the Cape Peninsula tour, and 2 people are continuing on the extension. Okay, this is designed for 2 people sharing the same room, paying by one form of payment. Okay, so this is like a husband and wife or a couple traveling on, one person's putting it on a credit card or on a bank account. Okay, now many of our travelers are friends traveling together, but they each want to pay by their own method of payment, their own credit card or their own bank account. So the second section that I'm showing today is that specific scenario. So instead of putting 2 in here, if you are traveling with a friend, then you put 1 in here, and then you come down and 1 on the Cape Peninsula tour and 1 on the Victoria extension. Okay. And then after that, we've got our payment details. There's two ways you can pay the deposit amount, which is $800 per person to reserve your space on the trip, plus any options. So the option Cape Town tour and the optional extension is required at the time of initial reservation. Or you won't be chastised if you want to pay it all there and then. Please feel free to do it. Okay. So after you've done that, you press continue. Obviously, if you're single, you won't mess about with the double or the triple. You'll just indicate right here, one person in a single room. Now, as we go to the next page, once we've pressed that section there that says, continue, we're now into the passenger information. And you'll see here, participant information with a 1 on it. If there's a couple reserving by one method of payment, you'll be a participant 1. And then once you fill that out, there'll be a participant 2 for this presentation. And as we're going through one person in a room with 2 people, we're going to show you just one participant information. So it's going to be name, first name, last name right here. Your email address, home phone number, home address, town, state, zip code, contact number, phone number, and your date of birth. You'll notice each one of those has an orange, I'm going to say blob, but it's really a star at the side of them. These are required fields and you cannot sign up without them. Once you, the next part of this is now we get into the name as it appears in your passport. That may be a different name than your first name and your last name. But this section right here is important. We must have your name as it appears in your passport. So if you go by the name of Will, but your passport name is Wilfred, please make sure that Wilfred is indicated here. But your last name, your first name, and middle initial or middle name, okay? Starred on the first 2, the last name on the first name, but you might not have a middle name or a middle initial, so that one is not starred. But if you have one, please indicate it. Then we've got gender. This is an airlines. The airlines, for some reason, in today's day and age, need to know if you're male or female. Right there. Now we've got your passport number. Now notice we don't have a starred section here on your passport. Why? Because some of you might not have enough time left on your passport from the last day of your trip. You might have to go and grab a new passport before you go. If your passport is valid for the entire stay of the trip and 6 months afterwards, then drop your passport number in there. If not, please, when you get it, fill it out and put your passport number in there, your expiration date and issue date. If you have a copy of your passport, you can click on this upload. It will open up a window in your computer. You'll go to where that passport is located and you'll be able to attach it to your reservation. Now, next, don't forget, we're bringing the example of 2 people in a room sharing the same room but different payments. So it's usually 2 ladies, 2 gents, or 2 family members. So what type of rooms do you want? Single? Yeah, if you're a single, yeah, it's a single room. Double room with 1 bed, double room with 2 beds. Okay. Now we're into the scenario that Alice Smith is doing this and she's sharing the room with Jane Jones. She'll now indicate Jones and Jane in here. So now we know who the 2 traveling companions are together in the same room. Okay. So that's what we've got here. Now to the last section, and I've nearly finished, and you'll be able to answer. You'll be able to ask your questions in a moment. We get into the gateway. Now, please keep in mind that this trip departs from New Orleans, and the air is included in that trip from New Orleans. And if that's what you want, tick that first circle right there. You might have, I think Lacey mentioned it earlier, or Connie, I'm not sure. You might have friends in LA, family in New York. You don't have to be from the St. Tammany area to go on this trip. If that's the case, great Aunt Maud wants to come on the trip with you. She'll click this second box and say, okay, I want to come out of New York. And from New York, she's going to put in the notes, fly me out of New York. Okay. Lastly, the last box is, I've got plenty of air miles, or I want to make my own way there. And for that, you'll get an $1,100 reduction on the price of the trip. And you'll click that box and you'll make your own way to South Africa and back from South Africa on your own steam. Your internal flights, your intra flights are still taken care of by us, but you'll just get to Cape Town and get home from Johannesburg if you take that option. Notes, the destination where you're leaving from, if it's different than New Orleans, anything else we need to know about you. We got a TSA pre-number or a global entry number right here, dietary needs and such things as that. Now, the last section is really important. If you're technologically challenged like I am, and you don't want to monitor time quite well, at 131 days before you go, final payment is due. If you tick this first box, automatically on that day, you will be billed to your credit card or your bank account. Now, don't worry, it's not a shock. You'll get a reminder 14 days before you go, and 3 days before you go, you'll get another one saying, make sure you do have funds available because you'll be charged on this particular date. If you don't want to do that, then no, you don't have to. You can click manual payment. You still will gain reminders 14 days, 7 days, and a gentle reminder. If you have forgotten to on the day of a final payment, you'll get a couple of reminders after that to pay, but you're not going to be forgotten. Lastly, to read the terms and conditions of the program is right here. Click yes, you've read them, and continue on to the payment format. There's credit cards. We take Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and Discover. Really easy to fill out. Just the credit card number, expiration date, all the details right there. Press confirm booking, and you're on the trip. You can also pay by e-check. And we've got a lovely picture, which is hard to see from this, but there's a picture of a personal check that shows you where the routing number is, where the account number is, that you'll put the full name. It could be John Smith's trust account in here, the routing number, the account number, confirm the account number, press confirm booking. And as soon as you press one of these green buttons here, you'll get an automatic pop-up that says, thank you for reserving the South African Adventure and Safari. And if you've got any questions, here's Connie's number. And by the way, would you like to take out travel insurance? Click on this banner. If you have strong spam blocker, it might not appear, but you'll get an email automatically. You're not dealing with a human in this case. You're dealing with a computer. It didn't have a vacation and it went on. It didn't go for lunch or for a coffee. It automatically sends you an email. If you don't get that email within 20 seconds, it's in your spam. You'll click on and look at that spam. And if you want to get the insurance, you will click on the blue banner. Oh, and I apologize, I'm forgetting something. Throughout this program, you'll notice when you get a charge, the charge does not come from Quest Voyager. It comes from our merchant account, which is We Travel. So keep that in mind. If you get a statement from your credit card and it says We Travel or W Travel, that's us. It's not fraudulent. If you get it on your bank, it's us. It's not fraudulent. Don't worry about it. Okay. So, but once you click on that banner, this appears. I think Connie mentioned I'm in Croatia. I'm not in Croatia yet. I'll be in Croatia on Saturday, but tomorrow I'm flying to Europe. I always take travel insurance out. And out of the last 65 times that I've gone internationally in the last 20 years, I've had to use it twice. I will never stop buying insurance because I've seen what happens and how many times people need it. But I always say, take it out, but I hope you all waste your money on it. Protect yourself, protect your investment. And I've only used it twice. out of 65 times. So I've actually wasted my money 63 times, but I'm not changing that in any shape or form. You'll click on the state of residence, wherever state it is, the destination you're going to. It only allows one. You'll put South Africa, departure date, return date, initial deposit date, final payment date. You'll have all that from your pop-up or your email, traveler's date of birth, cost and such, and click on the submit, and you'll get the price. It covers trip cancellation for medical reasons. This is standard insurance. For medical reasons, as long as a doctor states you can't go, it should cover you for that. And I have to say should, because I'm not the insurance company, but it should cover you for that. It covers trip interruption, travel delays, missed air and cruise connections, baggage and personal effects losses, baggage delays. My oldest son, arrived to England yesterday without his luggage. It's 3 days until he got it. So he has $300 to gain essentials until he gets his luggage. So again, I brought the same philosophy with my children. It covers emergency medical and dental, emergency evacuation and repatriation, accidental death and dismemberment. Don't try any of these. They're not good options. So don't even think about trying them. Pre-existing conditions, 24-hour a day, 7 days a week assistance. But it also has the ability to take cancel for any reason. As long as you take out cancel for any reason in supplement, it covers all the above we've just mentioned, but it gives you added security of saying, if I don't want to go, I don't want to go, as long as I cancel 48 hours before the trip departs. Now, cancel for any reason. I get a bad haircut. I don't want to be seen in public. The dog doesn't want me to go. I'm a lawyer and I've been waiting for the case of a lifetime. And it appears to have arrived when I'm going on this trip. Cancel for any reason is cancel for any reason, as the name states. But as it's your reason not to go, instead of 100% like on the medical, you'd only get 75% back if you cancel for any reason. If it happened to be a medical, you should get 100% back, even if you have the cancel for any reason.
That's what we're trying to have to do.
And that certainly hope to join the chamber on a terrific year in 2025 and